Okay, so I'm going to say first, good morning. The picture you see on the top is my morning every day in Bisha. So from my room, this is the sunrise. So every day I took millions of these pictures because it's beautiful. It's sunrise, sunset. Okay, so I'll tell you first, nice to meet you. So who am I? Being Ruta, I grew up I was born in Eritrea, and at a young age I immigrated to America during the previous colonization of Ethiopia. Then I did all my middle school, high school, college education in America. I was Kayahan Baba, we were Bana, we were Warsai, we were Hamamate, and then became YPFDJ. So I am a proud YPFDJ USA. And I have had mentors, amazing mentors in every community, starting from my mom to the embassy, Girmas Morom, Sofia, Brahane, Yamane, everybody. I'm so lucky that everywhere I go, I find all these amazing women and men that inspired me to form my identity. I am 100% Eritrean. Grew up in diaspora as American, so that's my identity, Eritrean American. And now being in Europe, I participated in Europe YPFDJ 2009, and we found many things alike because our parents pretty much ate the same food and lived in the same household. So every household I go to my mom's kitchen, my mom's home. Every Eritrean mom is the same, whether it be in Eritrea or diaspora. So I'm very proud to have such formed identity that I can identify with, but it's global. So we are not in Eritrea, we're all over the world. So Eritrea is everywhere, not just in Africa. So going from there, I'm gonna go and say qualification. So where did I qualify myself? My mom said, you are the doctor of our family, because she's a nurse. She's like, nurse is not enough? You have to be a doctor. All right, so I went to pre-med and did my first degree physiology, which is medical science, and I was really involved in medicine and did internships, worked in hospitals, did all that I have to do, but I hate sick people, because every time they're sick, I'm sick with them. so I'm like, no, this profession is not for me. Then I went to research, medical research, so I did biochemistry research for 2 years, and I'm not a research person. You're under the ground all day long, fighting with test tubes and inanimate things, so you don't talk to anyone for 16 hours, your mouth is thinking. I'm like, what? That's not a job for me, I love people. Then I went into teaching, and then I love teaching because it's controlling minds and influencing minds of people. So I'm a teacher, yes. So as I taught my favorite subject. I taught math and science, biology, physiology, biochemistry, stuff that I love. So it's just being able to transfer information. I also teach consciousness. That's everywhere I go, people have to be conscious. So with every field comes consciousness. So I got my teaching into, got to form in America for many years, many different diverse groups. But at the same time, I was involved in, because we were YPFDJ in Sawa, 2004, we formed it, and we started getting involved in all the activities nationally. And then, so I realized, hey, there's something that's missing, management. So I said, all right, so I'm gonna get master's, but it's gonna be in management, which is totally different than medicine. And so start teaching. In the teaching school that I was in, I started getting involved with department heads, this and that. And then moved on to administration and leadership, so that's my master's. And then start working in Eritrea, specifically presently now Bisha, and I have to manage the human resource development. So I got my online certification from University of Cape Town on human resource development, which is totally different too, but so that's where I am right now. So professionally, I'm an educator, educational leadership, and also now I'm a manager. Chapters in USA, we had San Jose, California, 2004, YPFDJ Charlotte, North Carolina, 2007, and YPFDJ Eritrea and Mainafhi. We started in 2011 when I entered, and it's still on. So 3 different chapters, but YPFDJ is YPFDJ. Wherever we are, we're all the same, yeah? حدا حزب حدا لبي, yeah? Awesome. Okay, so what's my reason for service? First thing was 2003 came into realization because I started my master's program to do administration. And one of the classes, the professor said, the only way to control Africa is through its people. So get its best and brightest out, bring them to America, and America becomes the greatest country because you can control the nation through each person that comes from that nation. I said, oh no, that's what they're doing, so I gotta reverse this. So that was when I decided I'm gonna reverse the policy, but start with myself by reversing the brain drain of Africans. Because every African must be conscious. So now wherever I find African, I tell them, hey, did you go back to your community? Did you go back to your country? They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, we gotta reverse it, because Africa's gotta be great if we all go back. And so that was my reason for service. So when I entered there, I entered as a volunteer of my Nafhi as a teacher to contribute. Then I realized we needed education administration, because if you could have a good management and administration of the schools, then the school system will improve, and that way the teaching and learning will improve, that way the country will improve, because the young generation needs good education. So that's where I decided, and then went to College of Education and worked in the education administration as an instructor for 4 years. So I taught in Nafi education administration for 4 years. Then that was to upskill the educators, and also consciousness always is on top of my list. One is citizenship. Eritreans must be proud of Eritrea first. Now we could be proud of everything else. But first as Eritreans. Secondly, we gotta take care of our environment. Whatever we do, the globe is ours. So if we take care of it when we're in diaspora, why don't we take care of it when we're in Eritrea? So that's the environment. So with greening projects, some of you have seen it on the YouTube, Nagarraba. So wherever we go, we're Nagarraba. And so that I get involved everywhere I go. And then the common vision. So where did this come from? At some point, Ayamana had come to my Nafhi, and this is a statement, I'm not sure if he remembers, but he said, competency is achieved by dedication to your profession over long periods of time. Some people think competency comes because you have education, you have a master's, PhD. No, it comes because you've worked in a certain profession for many years. So that is something that inspires all of us in staying to our fields and becoming experts, not just a job. It's a career, and you have to stay in it for long periods. And second motivation is JFK, which is the President of America. You know, they influence us, we like it or not, but this one I like. He says, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. This was in his inauguration speech in 1961. And I said, like wherever we go, we always say, what can YPFDJ can do for me? What am I going to get out of it? What is Hamata going to do for me? Like all the questions when you guys asked Saleh, you were saying, what's Hamata doing to create jobs for the youth? What could the youth do for the nation? What can we do for our people? What can we do for our country? So, AIT educator, what do I do? One is academic courses, as I said earlier, education administration, management. We do computer and English course because that's short. It's there, but sometimes we have Indian teachers, we have Sudanese teachers who don't speak English well. So they know the curriculum, but they need English. So we do a lot of English and computer courses to upskill. We have research projects, as Ayamana was mentioning yesterday. Research is key. We need to identify our own problems ourselves and come up with our own solutions and recommend, so that the businesses, the investors can come to the identified problems and solve them. So that's research is important. So we have a lot of senior research papers and others. And also we have some diaspora people coming to do research, like Samha recently came to Bisha to do her research, and things like this come and we get involved with that. Staff workshops and activities. Some of the staff and educators need consciousness themselves. They live in Eritrea, the global consciousness, يوحدهم. So we get involved in that. Weekly academic presentations. This is the students who are studying some fields. They become good knowledge and expert. We create grounds for them to share with us, so they can pass their knowledge. Curriculum and module development with Ministry of Education. This is yearly, there is a curriculum review, so the educational system is improved. So we get involved in that as well. Health awareness project with Ministry of Health. There are a variety of, that's how I know Nadia. We were working with Ministry of Health through UNICEF, projects that we were working on women awareness and FGM, anti-FGM, with Hamade. Also Hamade have projects on that. So it's very exciting to live in Eritrea, as you could see. Many ministries you get involved in, many projects, but it's not what Eritrea doing for me, it's what I'm doing with Eritrea. Extracurricular activities, of course, leadership workshops, they're exciting. So leadership workshops are workshops we did in the evenings at MyNFA from 7 to 10 p.m. It's at night after dinner. Voluntarily, people come, it's consciousness. So they ask me, Ruth, can you do a presentation on gender awareness? So everybody comes, boys and girls. They ask all kinds of questions, or they say, what does it mean? I don't know, like one of the questions was empowerment. What is empowerment? What does it mean to empower? Where does it come from? So things like this they ask, or a leader. Who's a leader? What's the difference between a leader and a manager? Then we talk about all those different skills that they need. Awareness programs, moral empowerment, NUIs, New and YPFDJ exist within EIT, so we merge together and work. The word kanabana, you see it? This word was created by EIT because some of the EIT students didn't want to be part of NUIs, they don't want to be PFDJ or YPFDJ, and they don't want to join Hamade. So they said, we want to do our own. And I told them, okay, you could do your own, but what is it? You have to have advisors. So I said, can you be our advisor? Sure. So they came and they said, we do activities, but people are asking us, which organization are we? We need to come up with a name. I said, okay, come up with a name. So then, mind you, the leaders of that group were YPFDJ, but they wanted to attract the people who didn't want to be part of YPFDJ. So we got it, and we said, what's the word? They said, I said, come up with 7 words, we will elect the best word. And they said, oh, no, we don't have to, we just found one word. What is it, kanabana? What does it mean? They said, kabana, nabana. Oh. And I said, this is perfect, because self-reliance, yeah? So I said, this is the vision, self-reliance, kabana, nabana, kanabana, okay. So it still exists. If you ever go to Eritrea, go to EIT, they will have kanabana activities. And it's poetry, it's activities, it's the kind of things Hamamat and PFDJ do, but they do it their way. And it's really fun in their language, academic language. Sometimes they have debates, academic debates, it's great. But majority of that team has another hat. So we belong to Hamada in PFDJ, so it's great. But so then we also have what section called student affairs, and then they follow up with like Nagarriba and other activities for students. Counseling and guidance, this one is with my students from counseling section, and they also do that. And then digital resources. I don't know if you know Radiate. Radiate is very involved with the digital resources. We connect with him, we give him, and he gives us PDF books, so everybody gets the resources and videos they need for their school. So we connect. All right, next was Bisha. So Bisha, I am a training and development manager. Employees, there are 2 types of training that I manage. One is employees only, and the second one is graduate development program. So the employees only focuses on safety, education, English language, mining industry exposure, remote area technology, reporting skills, work ethics, punctuality, other things that the employees need to become international standard employees. For the graduate program, is mainly for our engineers and geologists that came straight from EIT with no work experience, and they haven't done national service, they come straight to Bisha. And when they come to Bisha, they're green, so there's a lot of work, practical knowledge missing, so we have to teach them. So we coordinated a really structured program for 3 years. They go through every section of the departments, they learn what mining industry is, and then they become functional employees. So I'm proud to say the last 3 years we produced 100 engineers in Bisha, our own, and then I'm going to show you pictures later. So the most challenging with this program was for the graduates to come and understand safety and environment cultural awareness. So the environment culture, as you do mining, you pollute the ground and you pollute the kind of things you do. So you have to be consciously aware to make sure that our land is not polluted. And also safety. it's a very dangerous place to work. There's chemicals, there's other things, it's fabrica, you know, so in the factory there's always some incidents and other things that you have to prevent, so hazards you have to be aware of. So that is the biggest section of our training. The rest is field practical experience. So geologists go geologists, mining engineers, process engineers, mechanical engineers, all the different engineers in EIT now are in Bisha with the program, and they all have hands-on, including computer engineering. So they have hands-on experience with the fields, and they have international staff that work there hand in hand. Then there's mining software. Mining softwares are very different because they're, I'm sure some of you know, to design the pit and all that, and we didn't have them in EIT, so when they come there, they become more exposed at the workplace, and it's high-level mining software training. The work ethics, explainable, exposure to diverse workers. We have 33 nations, I think as of last 6 months, represented in Bisha, from 33 different countries. So it's very diverse. We got Zambia, Zimbabwe, Australian, Canadians, South Africans, they're just from everywhere. And so having the Eritrean youth coming from EIT, they have some expat experience as their teachers were Indians and Sudanese and others, but when they come to Bisha, they see engineers, they see geologists, they have field people. So that experience, it gives them a different work ethics. They have to wake up at 4 o'clock, they have to eat breakfast at 4:30, be at work at 5 o'clock. That's difficult for an EIT student. So when they come, they adapt to this and they love it. They go to the gym and they have structured workplace and hours, and it's wonderful. And so that is the program. And if there's not, then there's disciplinary action. They have to come and talk to me. Then I have to do the teacher role, but also the manager role. There's a specific way. So that's very exciting. I learned a lot, but they also are proving themselves to be good employees. Then the international standardized work procedures. At the same time, they take now the port procedures. Once they start working with them, because they have good understanding of English and Tigrinya, they start translating it. Some of them translated to Tigra, which is good. So then our workforce start getting the work through because they understand the language now. Then the online courses. The online courses are to add more knowledge of how the work is done, because they already have their degree, but then they take extra courses to make sure they understand it in a different level. So those are all being very, very exciting to work, and the program has gone very well, and we're going to keep moving year by year. And by the way, we're not just producing for Bisha, we're producing for Eritrea. So beyond Bisha, if there's other employments with other companies, they'll be able to move forward with that. So, common vision. I told you common vision. What's that? Well, what is the common vision now? So are you in this? What's your vision for your life? As youngsters, we have to have a vision. I want to be, when I grow up, I want to be this, I want to do that. I want to live this lifestyle. So if that's what we said, then what is your broader mission? What's your target? Your target must be aligned with the national vision. So if we say, what's national vision? I do this with all the classes and with all the meetings I do in Bisha or in any kind of work. So what's the national vision? Most people say, I don't know. Independence, freedom, this. No. National vision is self-reliance. So you personally, are you self-reliant? Do you have enough money in your bank to survive? Can you buy your own ticket to Eritrea now? If the answer is no, then you're not with our national vision. You don't have a vision. But if yes, yes, then you do. And secondly is your profession. Are you focused on a profession? If you don't have a profession, then you don't have a vision. Our national vision says self-reliance. You need profession and you need to be financially independent, personally. So can you handle yourself? If not, then do you have enough in the savings to last you a year? Can you survive in a year without having to get a job? If the answer is no, then you're not self-reliant. You're depending on loans and banks and parents and friends, roommates, yeah? Some of us know that. And so it's very important to achieve self-reliance personally first. Then you work with your community, you can contribute. It's like Fisto. If the Fisto has water, you know Fisto, yeah? The barrel of water, you know Fisto? Minimal omish. No, so our community can have. How do we get involved with our community if we don't have our own Fisto full of our knowledge? Yeah? So how do we give to Eritrea if we don't have our own knowledge and finance? Yeah. So we have to be first financially and professionally competent and self-reliant. Then we give back to our country, we give back to our community. So that is the whole idea. And Eritrea right now is in that version of, to do the self-reliance, we're focusing on talented, expert citizens. Who are they? In diaspora, who are they in Eritrea? So that's what we're achieving. So I'm gonna share a little bit more, and we're doing this nationally through education and training. That's our priority. So why education? Some people say, even in diaspora, why do I have to get educated? I already got 12th grade. Why do I have to go to school? I don't like college. Why do I have to continue? Well, education, just few points. It allows you to transfer the society values to the next generation. If you want to pass who you are, first you gotta know who you are. Get educated about you. To improve the quality of life, creating solutions for the society's problems. There are problems everywhere. If you don't have education, you don't even recognize them. You don't even know what they are. Or you become part of the problem. So be educated so you're not part of the problem. To teach discipline and love of order. Love of order is the only way we get into the global networking, or we survive on Earth. You gotta have love of order. And you gotta know that, because then you gotta understand other societies and how other systems work. To level the fields of information between the haves and the have-nots. You have to know who's who. Who's rich, who's poor. If he's poor, how could I solve their problem and help them and make money off of it? If they're rich, how can I get to know and tap into that wealth and make it my own? Yeah? So you have to understand who's the haves and who's the have-nots, and then align yourself accordingly. Provides access to the world economy by creating awareness of global business and professional networking. Global business. We know Eritrea business. Do we know the global business? Where are we? Where are we as a nation in the global business? So this is something, I think one of the theme of our conference today is economic capacity. Where are we? So economically, where are we? And where do we want to go? So that comes through education. Learn tolerance, respect other cultures, and communicate to other societies. So if we are to tell other societies who we are in Sweden right now. How do we tell the Swedish? We must first have tolerance and respect amongst each other, and then we understand how to communicate with them. All right, brief history of Italian education. So education, in the past, just a brief history, I'm sure most of you know it. During the Italian, the curriculum said, Italian language and history, that's what it focused on. And it went only to the 4th grade. Many of us don't know this. We thought education was in Eritrea all along through. Some people last week told me, Italian started education. I'm like, no, they actually stopped us. Because I will show you the curriculum objective that I found from Ministry of Education, which was quite amazing. And then the British came, they doubled the schools, the number of schools, but they allowed us to go to 12th grade, English, Tigrinya, and Arabic. And then Ethiopians came, they reflected the Amharic culture and values, political aspirations they had. They undermined the Eritrean identity. They allowed us to go 12 plus because you were allowed to go to university beyond, even go to Ethiopia for university like my dad did. But they were mainly focused to undermine the Eritrean identity. Then came the current educational policy, or EPLF came. And EPLF, they had vital constituent of the social reform. There is a big educational literacy happening, elementary education in indigenous languages. So it's pretty much what they tried to undermine. Our EPLF made sure that the curriculum actually brought the Eritrean identity in all the different areas. And the completion rate at the time was women had 54% and the total was 73%. Then the current educational policy is broad-based education. It incorporates widespread dissemination of skills to all citizens from primary to tertiary, which is amazing because even the UNESCO principles, as I educate, I always read and I'm like, wow, the UNESCO principles only says to the 12th grade, free education. In Eritrea, we have it to the tertiary. You can become a doctor and a lawyer for free. It's quite amazing. And so this is the objective of Italians. By the end of the 4th year, the Eritrean student should be able to speak our language, which is Italian, moderately well, not proficiently, they said moderately well, and he should know, not she, he should know the 4 arithmetic operations, which is plus, minus, division, and multiplication. That's all you're allowed to know, nothing more. No algebra, no geometry. He should be a convinced propagandist of the principles of hygiene, so you have to be clean, and history, knowing only the names of those who have made Italy great. That was the objective of the Italian education. That shocked me. Then I thought, do we have the same objective? Is our education making Eritrean values and Eritrea great? So this is where we have to work through. So we have to be conscious and make sure our curriculum right now is making Eritrea great. All right, so what's Eritrean educational system producing? I'm gonna go through this real quick. Talented professionals to satisfy the national development activities. So the teaching learning, we have high schools, colleges, IT experts, teaching programmers, experts in consultancy, so a variety of different consultancy of fields in different areas. Other sectors, hospitals, ministries, and then the greening projects, arts and tourism. There's a lot of that happening. And then the picture on the left, if you could see, it's where? Do you locate? Asmara Palace. Did you recognize? So in Asmara Palace, there's a lot of conferences that take place at a high level for different kind of things, for mining, for pharmacies, pharmacists, engineers, different kind of forums that take place. Some of you, I'm sure you participate in it. And there's a lot of that happening everywhere. So we also have social justice through our educational system. There's diverse ethnic groups and gender equity professionals everywhere I go. So on the white gowns, those are the Masawa quality control chemists. On the left side, you see electrical engineers in Bisha. On the bottom, you see 7th grade math. Last week, I visited a school in Masawa. That group that's holding hands, there is 5 ethnic groups within that little group. And all of them, boys and girls, going to school together, brilliant youngsters, but highly diversity in every school that we have, which is something you don't see in other countries. Only the privileged and the few go to school. But in our schools, highly diverse groups. These are external experts of nationals. So on the left side, you see mechanical engineers learning project management. So those are engineers already, but they're learning project management because then you could be an engineer, but if you don't know how to manage your project, you're not good enough. Or you're gonna need a white guy to come or somebody else, an external to come guide your project. So they're learning how to do project management so they could do themselves. On the left side, they're chemical engineers producing pipes for our diga. So we got digas, and then we have pipes that we're producing locally through our chemical engineers and in the factory. My favorite picture. So this, the gender equity of college graduates. These are the control room and operations in our job. And in there you see the boy and the girl in the orange. They're graduate engineers, they're process engineers. But the people around them are the experts that are teaching them how to control the factory. So they're working with them, but I'm telling you, within a year or two, we don't need those expats anymore. We're going to have those youngsters controlling the shop. The guy in green, he's from Zimbabwe. He's been in Eritrea and Bisha for 6 years. The guy in orange right next to him is going to replace him in a year because he's been working with him that long. So this is like very, and he's not an engineer, but he just, through experience, he's learned what he's doing. So through experience, we're having a lot of success as well. So what's my role in doing Eritrea's professional capacity? As an educator, I participate in leadership activities, administration, consciousness, career counseling, training and development. Through my passion, I teach patriotism because we gotta love our own nation ourselves, but we gotta love it in the right manner, in a way we're productive. Greening environment, we gotta protect our beautiful Eritrea, make it green. So everywhere we go, we have to plant a tree. When you go to visit Eritrea, I'm gonna ask you, did you plant one tree? It could be in your house, it could be in your village, it could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be organized, coordinated. It could be anywhere you go. Just put a tree on that ground. And then that way we will have a green Eritrea for the preserve for the next generation. Technology education, what does it look like? Not video games, not films, It's got to be productive technology. So are we focused? Are we wasting a lot of our time just doing unproductive technology? Make it productive, read, use it so that it makes your life easy, or you do things that are globally knowledgeable that will be useful for you in the future. So technology education is important when you're conscious. But are you conscious about your time? Because if anything, technology takes our time. Am I right? At night, it takes all your time. And then what have I done? Oh, I haven't done anything in the last 6 hours. I just browsed through Facebook and checked all my stuff. And then after 6 hours, I have zero productivity. I haven't learned anything. I've seen a lot of pictures. My friends are doing this, that. But there's no productivity. So be aware, and that technology is used for your own, not you're being used by the technology. Okay. Yes. Woohoo! Technology. All right, national tourism. So Eritrea through our eyes is different than the Eritrea through the locals, yeah? Eritreans who live in Eritrea, they think it's just regular hill. For us, it's a beautiful, because we see it through different eyes, because we live in different parts of the world. So national tourism can only be encouraged through us. So get involved in that, telling how beautiful our nation is. We got the seas, we got the mountains, we got ore, we got everything. Beautiful weather, no snow, not like Sweden. Freezing cold. I love Eritrea, there's no snow. And so the little things like this that make our country beautiful, take good pictures, share it, tell the world, so that others are not telling who Eritrea is. We're telling it our way because it's our country and it's beautiful. Okay, so that's one of my passions. For you, what do you do? So do what matters. What does it matter? Focus on a vision. This is funny, the word focus, the singer earlier, Imnet, and then yesterday, Bitsayamana, and I had it already. I prepared this last 2 weeks ago in Asmara. Focus is very important, because sometimes you can have a vision, but there are so many things that come your way that get you disfocused. With it. You could waste it completely and get nothing, or you could do something. That's when the people rich versus poor are separated. The rich use that second 8 hours to make themselves and advance themselves. And the poor, they do nothing with that 8 hours. They just hang out, watch TV, or watch internet, or Facebook, or chat forever about nothing. So those second 8 hours is so important. So stay focused on that time. Talent, how talented are you? Do you know your talent? If you don't, develop it, figure it out. What is it? Volunteer. So what does your organization do for you? What does YPFDJ do for you? For me, it allowed me to learn about my talent. I know I could teach, and I did that. I know I could lead meetings, because I learned how to lead meetings in YPFDJ. And in Hamamate, when we did our youth organization, now I'm a manager, and I could lead my meeting, no problem. I manage my meetings very well with my expat employees, with my national employees, everywhere I go. When I teach my class, I control my class because I learned to lead meetings. So use those organizations to develop your talent. What do you do? And then the finances, obviously, have to be able to save. It's not how much you make that you're rich. You guys know this, yeah? It's how much you save. Yeah, if you spend, you're gonna be poor because it's only going out. But if you save, you're gonna be rich. So all rich people know how to save. They will never spend money on you. They will not even buy you coffee because they're gonna save that money and stay rich. So stay rich by saving. Don't be a spending generation. We love to spend. New phone comes, my phone still works, and I go buy a new phone just because it's new. No. If mine function, save your money, be rich. If you're gonna keep buying all these gadgets, you end up getting poor. So stay focused on this as well. Be conscious. Network with productive professionals. What does it mean, productive professionals? Look at someone who's got the same focus as you or the same profession that you want. Hang out with them, but make sure they're successful. If they're not successful, they're no good.
hang out with successful, productive professionals. Then you will adapt their behavior, you will know their little tactics, and then you will also be successful. So stay focused on productive professionals. Okay, my favorite one, avoid unnecessary time wastage. What does that mean? Unnecessary time wastage. Kashkash bun. How many of you like kashkash bun? I love bun. How many hours do you do kashkash bun? 2 hours, 5? I'm seeing some of you. 10 hours? Wow, really? 10 hours? 4 hours? Okay, so during that 4 hours of kashkash bun, what are you talking about? Are you conscious? Are you learning something? Or is it just about nothing? It's about nothing? Okay, so be conscious about it. If you're talking about nothing and spending 10 hours on coffee, that's a waste of your life. You could be reading, you could be developing your talents, you could be working and saving money and getting rich. So kashkash bun is good, but make it productive. Always go with an agenda to learn something. An agenda, or guys who hang out in the cafes. Yeah, I hang out in the cafe, I love the cafes. Do we go with the conscious knowledge we're gonna meet someone productive professional? Are we making an appointment with our friends to talk about something serious? Are we just hanging out? Yep, serious, that's great. So this is how it is. We have to be conscious about the unnecessary time wastage. So let's define Eritrean professional, right? Because you guys are all gonna be Eritrean professionals, because I need you back in Eritrea. I've been there 8 years now. Woo, and I love it. So I keep challenging myself. You guys go to Eritrea for summer, yeah? I go to America for summer. That's what I've been doing the last 8 years. I go to visit my family because they're still in America, but I go there every summer because during the work hours, I got to work and go to school in Eritrea. So I stay in Eritrea and I'm loving the lifestyle. It's nice, but all of you need to come and contribute with your professionalism so life becomes the way you want it to be. So don't wait until Eritrea becomes Sweden or Europe or America. Come now and make Eritrea yours and the way you want it to be. So if you do that, people will choose to stay in Eritrea. They're not going to leave. I have a lot of my students who are in EIT, even in Bisha now, who thought of leaving, but then they saw me and they're like, what are you still doing here? I love it. What's not to love? If you stay, then I guess we'll stay. And then they stayed. Some of my colleagues in EIT went to get their masters and they came back and they stayed. They said, Ruta, if you could live here, I think we could live here because we're better than you. And they are better than me. So they came back and we're all staying together and we love working together. Okay, so Eritrean professional, best expert in your field, applying your talents and passion towards developing Eritrea. That's the Eritrean profession. So be Eritrean professional, have talent first. Become qualified professional, then come serve your country. Don't come when you don't know who you are. Then you will never find yourself in Eritrea. First, know yourself, become professional, come to make your vision right by serving your nation. So know who you are, know what you want first. Then come and serve, no problem. We have plenty of things to do for you. Eritrea has the most jobs in the world. A lot of people say, there's no job in Eritrea. I'm like, what do you mean? We have so much to do. We have roads to fix, we have buildings to do, we have so much. Here in Sweden, I saw everything is perfect, there's nothing to do. You just have to live the routine, yeah? But Eritrea has so much to do. We have to build it to the nation we want it to be for the next generation. So the jobs are over there, not here. So come, but be talented, be professional. When you come over there, come to contribute, because you have something to give, not because you want to get something out of it. No, something to give. So come and give, and then we'll make the nation that we want it to be. So YPFDJ. YPFDJ these days is challenging. A lot of people are like, I'm not sure if I still want to be. No. The only thing we fear is fear itself. This comes from FDR, is another president, American president. Hey, why not use their words, right? He says, this is again in his inauguration speech, because America was fearful at some point. Everybody thinks, oh, America is so great. Well, no, they used to fear. At some point, they were fearful, sitting, hiding in their homes. Just, they used to be worse than we are. So the president had to say this in his inauguration speech to make them fearless. So he said the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror which paralyzes needed efforts to convert retreat into advance. So if you're fearless, you can advance. That's what we are, Eritreans. We're always advancing because we have so much against us. Everybody's telling lies about us. But we're not fearful. We're fearless, but we have to be conscious about it. So what is Eri youth? It's a fearless Eri youth. Because we know our identity, we know our vision, we are qualified professionals moving forward. So be talented, be conscious, be capable. I like the word capable because it has two words in it, capacity and ability. So have capacity and be able. So if you're capable, then you'll be able to do that. After all, كلبي ينبح جمل قعزو يقتل. نحنا جملنا. So قعزونا نقتلنا. All right, so supreme confidence, this is a note I took from Yamane yesterday. Supreme confidence comes from being qualified expert and financially independent. So history is the final judge of our deeds. That's what JFK said. What do you do now will become history one day. Your children, your grandchildren will say, oh, I'm proud of my grandpa, I'm proud of my mom, of my dad. There will be history, it will judge you. Everything we do today counts. So you have to have that supreme confidence to make sure you're making history. Because you like it or not, it's happening. So how knowledgeable are you to make sure that your history is what you want it to be? So the word in the green, kahabanu masibam. And nara means thank you. One of the languages I